Two high schools in District 11 have moved entirely to remote learning after multiple students tested positive for COVID-19. But it's not necessarily these outbreaks that are forcing some students to work from home.
KRDO News Channel 13's Mia Villanueva has more on what played the biggest factor in one high school closing its doors in our continuing coverage.
Today, students from Doherty and Palmer High School in District 11 are attending classes from home after two students at each school tested positive for COVID-19. Just a week and a half ago, District 20 was in the same situation, with 4 out of 5 of their high schools operating remotely as well. Leaders at both districts say the decision to keep students home isn't because they can't keep their campuses safe.
Doherty had 2 positive unrelated cases, and because of the lack of substitute teachers, they were operationally challenged.
We're facing that challenge of the teachers go to quarantine, and so we can't find enough substitute teachers or guest staff, can't keep those buildings open, and so we've got to move everybody to e-learning, the entire school.
District 20 says they have about 600 substitutes in their pool, many of whom are subs for other districts. District 11 says they have about 460 in their pool as well. But when push comes to shove, many of them are scared to fill in at a school that's had an outbreak.
We've had at least 70 come to us and say they don't want to sub this year, and rightfully so, because a lot of them are in a high-risk category. A lot of them are retired educators themselves.
District 11 says their saving grace in this situation is that it's happening at their high schools.
For high school level, it's not all that big of a deal because high school students usually can work remotely on their own. They don't need a lot of supervision.
Students who started quarantine today at Doherty and Palmer High Schools will return to campus on November 10th. In the meantime, both districts are hoping to fill in the gaps that COVID-19 has left in their subpools.
If you've been called to substitute teach at a school that just had to send groups of people out at quarantine, it's still very safe because we've gotten all of the potential cases at home. They're in isolation, they're in quarantine. If you've ever thought about being a substitute teacher, now is the time.
Reporting in Colorado Springs, Mia Villanueva, KRGO News Channel 13.